We recently spent an entire month exploring the amazing island nation of Sri Lanka, a country rich in history, culture, and natural diversity. Although we tried to do as much research as possible before visiting, nothing prepared us for what ended up being the trip of a lifetime. If you've ever heard someone say, "Traveling changed me," and thought to yourself, what do they mean by that? Well, we're here to tell you that our trip to Sri Lanka made a lasting impression on us, one that will ultimately change our way of thinking forever. If you read the news reports about Sri Lanka, you will no doubt hear about the civil war that ended in 2009, the growing issues with the economy, and civil unrest and protests that have plagued the country since 2021.
This is the latest video from the Sri Lankan government showing what it says is another victory in its 25-year fight with the Tamil Tiger rebels.
But what you may not hear is just how beautiful and inviting the people of Sri Lanka are to foreigners visiting their country. We've traveled all over the world in the past 2 years and have met some of the most amazing people along the way. But Sri Lanka had to be the most welcoming country we've ever visited. The local people will literally greet you with open arms and welcome you into their community as one of their own. So with that being said, here is our ultimate travel guide to what is known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka. Before we get into today's episode, we just want to say a big thank you to Surfshark for supporting our channel and sponsoring this video. If you've been watching our channel for a while, you would know that we've been using Surfshark VPN since the day we started our travels. It's been a game changer and something we can't live without as digital nomads. If you don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network. Having a VPN keeps you safe basically by covering up everything you do online. It's kind of like wearing a mask. When your laptop or phone connects to the internet, all of your information is encrypted. Basically, whenever you log into public Wi-Fi, you're running the risk of a hacker stealing your information, which is why we always use Surfshark in public settings. But aside from providing us with extra security while we're on the road, Surfshark also makes it possible for us to access online streaming sites that we wouldn't normally be able to access because we're in another country. So basically how it works, when you're using Surfshark VPN, you can choose which country's server you want to connect to, and not only that, you can connect an unlimited amount of devices using just one Surfshark account. If you're interested in trying it out, click the link in the description and use code Lloyd and Mandy, and you'll get an exclusive Surfshark deal of an extra 3 months free. And if you've never used a VPN before and you're not really sure about it, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so no worries. Thank you, Surfshark, for supporting our channel, and thank you guys for listening. Now let's get into the episode. Colombo. When flying to Sri Lanka, you will land at Colombo International Airport, which is located about 40 minutes north of the city center. But don't worry, as public transport is generally on the more affordable side, while it's super simple to book a taxi upon arrival, if you want to save time and money, you can actually get an Uber from the airport to your hotel for just under $5. To make it even easier, we use Olafly eSIM when traveling, which gives us an active data network as soon as we touch down, making it even easier to book an Uber right at the arrival gate. Alternatively, at the airport, there are SIM cards available just right outside the baggage collection area, and you can expect to pay as little as $10 for 30 days of unlimited data using a local company called Dialog. This is a great option if you're planning an extended trip. Colombo is the bustling capital of Sri Lanka and the most populated city in the country. Located on the coast of the Indian Ocean, it is not only the epicenter of business and trade, but has many cultural monuments that can be viewed in a single day by tuk-tuk. We used Capital Tours as our local guide to Colombo, who picked us up from our hotel in a convertible tuk-tuk with drinks and snacks provided. Our driver Kavit was extremely knowledgeable on the city, having lived there his whole life.
A herbal potato.
Herbal potato, okay.
Why is it so big?
We don't know, madam.
He took us to many different areas of Colombo, including the Spice District, the famous Marine Drive, and showed us all the old historical buildings in the city, including Dutch and English colonial sites, as well as ancient temples, churches, and mosques. But no trip to Colombo would be complete without tasting some of the amazing food the city has to offer. Capital Tours also offer an authentic street food tour where you will get to taste all of the local cuisines in one night. Just make sure you have an appetite because you'll need it. We stayed at 2 different hotels during our time in Colombo, the first one being the Grand Bell Hotel Colombo, which had an amazing view of the city and the ocean. We also stayed in Pearl Grand Hotel in Colombo, which was a more budget option and not so fancy, but it was actually really good value for the location and the rooftop pool. Next stop is Sri Lanka's beautiful south coast, where you can visit pristine beaches and national parks all in the same day. Getting to the south coast is super simple using the public train. One of our favorite parts about Sri Lanka is the incredibly scenic train rides, and this is the first of a couple trains that we will recommend riding while you're here. First class train tickets are as low as $7 per person to get from Colombo to Galle, which is where we recommend you spend at least a few days checking out the famous Galle Fort, an old Dutch colonial settlement on the water that has been extremely well preserved and even survived the tsunamis of 2004. We wish we would have known before arriving in Galle about all the amazing cafes and restaurants located at Galle Fort, because we would have allowed for more time to spend the whole day there, because there's just so much to see and do, so we recommend you do that. There's also beautiful fields where locals seem to like to play cricket and have picnics in the grass, and there was cows wandering around, and it was just a really pleasant place to spend time. We also recommend checking out the Mahamodara sea turtle hatchery, where you can see the great work they're doing to help preserve these beautiful creatures. The cost to enter the sanctuary was about $4 each. Continuing your journey down the coast, you can rent a tuk-tuk to drive the rest of the way using tuktukrentals.com, making your experience in Sri Lanka all the more authentic, taking in the breathtaking scenery while having some access to the best parts of the country on 3 wheels. Tuk-tuk rentals will take care of everything for your journey, including delivering your tuk-tuk to your accommodation, making you feel comfortable driving the tuk-tuk before you take off, and even getting you sorted with a local license so the police won't bother you. The cost of the license is just $50 and is a requirement when renting from them. The rental of the tuk-tuk was also about $18 per day. You can also add on having like an esky or having a speaker. There's plenty of different options to make your tuk-tuk journey more comfortable. Believe it or not, we managed to fit all of our luggage, plus 2 of us and a speaker, in this tiny little tuk-tuk, and driving it was much easier than we thought. It made our trip that much better having our own transport, and having the tuk-tuk made the trip for us. Honestly, we really recommend experiencing this at least once. The next stop on the south coast is a cool little surf town of Welligama, which feels sort of like a throwback to 1980s Bali before it became a little bit more overdeveloped and westernized. Here you'll find some of the best beginner surf spots in Sri Lanka, as well as many yoga studios and healthy cafes. There's not really a huge party scene in Welligama, so if you're looking for nightlife, then this probably isn't the place for you, but it's a great place to chill out even when you're not a surfer, and the vibe is really chill and peaceful, and we really liked it. We aren't really big surfers, but if we're going to head somewhere to learn, I think this would be the place. It looked like the going rate for a surf lesson was about $20, and there were plenty of people of all ages learning how to surf at the main beach on Welligama. We also loved going to yoga at Hang Time Hostel just across the street from the main beach for $6 each, and watching people surf from the balcony. Our favorite beach near Welligama was Jungle Beach, but be wary of your personal items on the beach as pickpocketing is quite common in the area, as we were warned. Continue your journey along the south coast up towards Yala National Park with quick stopovers at Hirikieta Beach all the way up to Tisamaharama, where you can spend a day exploring the massive temple and begin your journey to Yala National Park. But beware of elephants. If you happen to cross one like we did, wait for a bigger vehicle to help guide you past the animal, and remember, do not feed the wild elephants. Around 2 hours north of Yala National Park is a cute little mountain village of Ella, where there is an abundance of cafes, restaurants, and beautiful homestays set up on the high hills with views of the waterfalls and famous Ella Rock. Expect to pay anywhere between $20 and $40 per night for a fully equipped Airbnb. Don't forget to visit the Instagram-worthy 9 Arches Bridge, where you can watch the train traveling through the breathtaking scenery up to 4 times a day. It's completely free to visit, but make sure you wear the right shoes to avoid slipping down the very steep descent. After a few days in Ella, we decided we wanted to take the train through the mountains to head to our next destination, which thankfully tuktukrentals.com has a service where a local will drive our tuk-tuk for us and meet us at the next destination. And I'm so glad we did this because the train ride was so scenic and we got to eat fruits and nuts from locals up the mountains. It was just a really special experience. Our next stop, where we met our tuk-tuk and the driver after the beautiful mountain train ride, is the quiet town known as Little England, Nuwiriya Eliya, which is a tiny little mountain town set on a huge lake and, as the name suggests, draws very close similarities to the English countryside. If you love tea, then this is the place for you. With hundreds of tea plantations in the area, you can be sure to find a great cup of tea here beside a warm fireplace. And yes, it does get very cold here, believe it or not, so make sure you pack the right clothing for the journey. A rain jacket definitely wouldn't hurt also. We stayed at a beautiful, cozy little cottage called the Tea Garden, where we paid just $35 a night for a room in a shared house. We ate dinner at a super cool local restaurant called Temperadu, which was a real vibe, and it had some delicious local food as well as great music and a fireplace. Next stop on your trip will be the second largest city in Sri Lanka, Kandy. To be completely honest, we didn't love the city of Kandy. It wasn't our favorite. Just after spending time in smaller towns, we realized we enjoyed ourselves more in laid-back atmosphere of Sri Lanka, but that was just our preference. If you're a city person, you definitely would like Kandy. Although we did really enjoy visiting the famous Buddhist Temple of the Tooth, which was a great experience. And you can couple your trip to the temple with a viewing of the local Kandy on dance, performed by local artists for just $10 per person at 5 p.m. every night right outside the temple. A couple nights in Kandy is long enough, as the best of Sri Lanka is yet to come. Sigiryia and Habarana. Probably the most iconic stop on any Sri Lankan itinerary is the well-known UNESCO World Heritage Site of Sigiryia. Sigiryia is an ancient rock fortress located near the town of Dambulla in the central province of Sri Lanka. It is a site of historical and archaeological significance that is dominated by a massive column of granite approximately 180 meters high. On top of the rock is an ancient city consisting of Buddhist settlements and rock shelters. However, there's a rather large fee of $30 to enter the site. We decided to climb the Galle rock at sunrise to get an amazing view of the rock as well as the surrounding landscapes. We were told by many locals that this alternative is just as good, if not better, than climbing the rock itself. And with an entrance fee of only $3, it was certainly much more affordable for us and less crowded as well. There are many hotels and Airbnbs close by to the rock itself. We decided to stay in a nearby town of Habarana, where we got to experience a local homestay with a beautiful Sri Lankan family at Bisa Villa. The mother of the family cooked us all of our meals for 4 days, including some great local organic dishes, all of which were sourced straight from their backyard and nearby farms. It was so delicious. This was truly an amazing experience for us and really capped off the entire trip. Not only did they take the time out of their day to show us around the village, but they even took us to the local temple so we could experience the Buddhist holiday of Poya, the once-a-month holiday where the whole country shuts down to reflect and live peacefully without any distractions. So don't be surprised if you can't buy alcohol or go out to your favorite restaurant on Poya Day, which falls on the full moon of every month. All in all, we truly loved our experience in Sri Lanka. The simplicity of the way of life here made us realize just how amazing this country is. We would highly recommend anyone who might be on the fence about visiting this country to give it a chance. You will not regret it. If you have any tips for Sri Lanka, fire them down in the comments. And if you found this video helpful at all, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel so we can continue making helpful videos like this one for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you as always in the next one. Bye.